All right, so let me go through the timeline here. Faith marriage to Hersey. This is her husband here, Hersey. They're dancing, they're so happy, but it's a faith marriage, so I'm not sure the dancing happened yet. But she has a faith marriage in her faith tradition, which of course is Muslim. So wedding bells in her faith marriage in 2002. Now they get busy, as most young couples do, and they have a couple of kids. But then things turn out a little sad. Yes, the home that they had built together, with the heart over the door, turns out that they have to have a faith divorce. Now, I don't know how you get a faith divorce, but they got one. So they get a faith divorce. I don't know who kept the faith kids or what happened. But then just a few months later, in 2009, it's marriage bells again. And this time she has a legal marriage to Elmi. And it's a faith marriage too, except this time it's not Islam, it's Christian. She has a Christian minister do the ceremony, even though her husband, her, and her ex-husband are all Muslim. Okay, that's not weird at all, because they honeymoon at college at North Dakota State University. Now, you might ask yourself, yes, but where was their love nest? Well, their love nest is really kind of interesting. Here's the documentation, by the way, of the second marriage here. This is the application. Here's their actual marriage certificate. And where do they live? Well, we have here the document from the university showing that her and her new husband, Elmi, went to school together. But they lived in this house. And they lived in this house while Hersey was living there, and the two kids. So kids, this isn't going to screw you up at all. Mommy's just married a new man, and we're going to live with with mommy's faith partner, along with mommy's legal partner, and you two kids, and we're going to school. Don't worry about it. By the way, here is the documentation. He tried to open up a business where he's stating he lives at this house. By the way, Hersey also is living at this house. So they're all living together, and there's also, I think this is 25 or 26 legal citations where either one of them say, oh yeah, I'm sorry, officer, and by the way, here's my address. So the three of them, it's like Three's Company also. So they're here, and then they go to college, and then in 2011, they graduate. Now here's what's so sad about this. The same year they graduate, she separates from Elmi. It's another sad, well, these are tough years, college years. Who knows what they were doing? Because they're not Muslim, they were Christians. So they were probably partying like crazy in college, and that put a lot of strain, so they had to separate. So they separate at the same time they graduate from NDSU. But here's what's crazy. Just a month later, she falls in love again with Hersey. Now, I'm not sure if Elmi is also living with Hersey in the love shack. I don't know. We don't know where he goes. We just know they separated, but that doesn't mean he's not living there anymore. Again, we don't know. So a month after she separates, not divorces, separates, she has another faith marriage, a faith remarriage, a Muslim faith remarriage to Hersey. I don't know what happened to her Christian marriage, but kids, learn a lesson. Christians, bad. Muslim marriages work. They last. So she comes back and she has another faith remarriage in 2012. In fact, it's going so well that in 2014, she's filing her taxes from this house, claiming that Hersey, the first husband, is her legal husband, even though her other husband, the second husband, Elmi, is actually the one she's legally married to. Remember, she's separated and only married in faith at this time. But don't worry, it's not confusing at all for the kids, because at this time she has 3 children. They had 2 children back here. Now they have another one. Oh,
My staff and I, we have beat our heads against the wall trying to give her the benefit of the doubt in every way that we possibly can. But the evidence is overwhelming. We don't know why others will not do an investigation on this. We can speculate, but we don't know why. Perhaps it's because unless she gives the answer, or unless there is enough support from the American people, there's nowhere to go. If her attorney general in Minnesota, who is Keith Ellison, if he won't do anything about it, who will? If people in Congress are too afraid to take her on because of CARE and all of her connections, who will? We are going to continue to ask the question until there is an answer. Now, this was just released by Caleb Hull. He tweeted this out yesterday, last night at 11:08 p.m. He said Ilhan Omar's father's name is Nur Omar Mohammed. Okay? That's how she gets the Omar name. That's her father, allegedly. But her alleged brother's name is Ahmed Nur Saeed Elmi. Remember, Saeed is the name. Omar, it's not the last one. It's all jumbled. So
just remember Saeed.
Saeed is the brother's name, his last name, if you will. She says she's
the alleged brother, Glenn.
Yes. She says she is an Omar, and so her father would have to be Nur Omar Mohammed, who came in from Somalia and had his whole family there, and Ilhan was one of them. Now, this tweet from 2013 on her official account appears to be pretty damning evidence that she married her brother, Saeed. This tweet, which was then deleted in the middle of the night by Ilhan Omar, was a copy of something she had deleted earlier on Instagram. But she didn't go to Twitter to delete the connection.
Yeah, and if you're not on these things, basically, you could set up Instagram to automatically tweet the same thing that you just posted on Instagram, so you don't have to do it twice. So you post it on Instagram once, it automatically sends a link to Twitter, and the beginning of your post that gets cut off a little bit. So we can't tell the entire message that she wrote, but we can see enough to actually see the content about the father.
And we do know at 11:08, this was online on her Twitter feed, okay? So we know this was posted by her on her Twitter feed. And we now know that it has strangely been deleted. What she wrote was, "Happy Father's Day to my Abu Nur Saeed. I am forever grateful to Allah for giving me the best father. We don't know what the rest of that message was. But this seems to verify that her father is not Omar, but Saeed, which would make Saeed Elmi her brother. You can clear this up. Now, if your ex-husband is not your brother, why did he live with a woman in England that you have referenced as your sister in London? Why does she consider your father, the one that you just said Happy Father's Day, as her father? Why are there photos of the two of you together? In 2016, you filed a harassment report on a DC cab driver where you called Layla your sister. Why did also another witness corroborate that later? Again, easy questions. The American people should know. You just need to tell us the truth. You just have to do what you've refused to do, and that is address them. You also have claimed that you're not having an affair with Tim Minette. So why does his wife claim otherwise in official court documents? And by the way, I don't really care about your sexual life. I don't care about it. I don't want to know about it. But the fraud with your brother seems concerning. Now you're an affair with Tim Minette. Just admit that you're having an affair with him. He left his wife for you. You've been seen together, photographed together, et cetera, but it's not really about him and you. It's honestly about the insane payments your campaign has paid him.
Allegedly.
No,
she's an alleged congresswoman. We don't know. We don't know her name. That's allegedly Ilhan Omar.
Can you please tell the people who donated your campaign a reason that you continue to pay him $14,000 on one day, $21,000 on the next day? Oh, and by the way, he also worked for Keith Ellison, your attorney general. Now, one of those things that I think is insane, absolutely insane, that I can't believe is happening, is this storyline with Ilhan Omar. The fact that she is still a U.S. congresswoman is nuts. But why is it happening? Because our media, I really didn't like when Donald Trump said the media was the enemy of the people. But I have to tell you, they are the enemy of truth. And if truth is what, the Washington Post says, oh, republic dies in darkness. Well, if that's true, you're killing the republic because you are adding to the darkness. You are not enlightening anyone. This is where the silence from the media is doing great damage to our country. They are so unwilling to do their jobs, so complicit in allowing scandal after scandal after scandal involving Ilhan Omar to go completely ignored. Now consider this. It took internet bloggers to first investigate a story that something weird was going on with all of Omar's marriages. It wasn't until official Minnesota documents were unearthed during her campaign finance violations that news broke that she had committed tax fraud. Not only that she had been married to two different men at the same time. The question was, is one of those guys her brother? There's been a lot of circumstantial evidence to pour through, but the media still will not do their jobs. I don't know why she's so protected from the elites at the Times, the Post, CNN. I don't know why she's so protected in Washington, D.C., unless it is the power she wields with CARE and the Muslim Brotherhood. Omar has claimed that her newest alleged love interest, Democratic strategist and fundraiser Tim Minette, isn't someone she's romantically involved with. But last week, Minette's wife filed for divorce, stating in court documents that the reason she's divorcing her husband is because of his affair with Omar. And yesterday, two sources have come forward, one for the New York Post and one for the Powerline blog, claiming that Omar's current husband is about to file for divorce due to the affair. The source at Powerline claims that Omar's husband is saying that he knows that Omar did in fact marry her brother. Can you imagine if this guy starts talking? Because he knows where all of the bodies are buried. Now, today I took a glance at all of the mainstream outlets and publications. They're not talking about any of this. And it begs the question, why is Omar protected? We could go down the road of, you imagine if she was a Republican, they would be all over this story. Just one of the scandals would still be front page coverage. But these aren't the only thing that the media is ignoring when it comes to Omar. The silence is unforgivable. The press is the enemy of truth and information, and it is dangerous. We know now that Omar likes to fundraise for CARE. The media doesn't seem to give a flying crap about CARE, the unindicted co-conspirator in the Holy Land Foundation case. But an investigation that uncovered multiple groups here in the United States the funding of the terror organization known as Hamas, an organization whose sole responsibility is to kill Jews and destroy the state of Israel. Now, because of CARE's involvement with the Holy Land Foundation, the FBI officially broke all ties with dealing with them. But despite this, Ilhan Omar continues to get a free pass for headlining fundraisers at posh CARE galas. Why? Why? They have been helping fund a terrorist organization. Now, don't worry, because it only gets worse from here. Last week, Ilhan Omar, from her official Twitter account, made this tweet. Now, remember, this is after her saying, we're going to go to Israel because we just want to support people there. And we found out that her trip was being planned by a group that was talking about crazy stuff. About talking about how whites shouldn't marry blacks and women are not equal and how gays are an abomination. And, of course, Jews were leading the pack on, need to be destroyed. We find this out. Nobody in the press even mentions that. That's who was arranging her trip. Now, don't worry about it. Now, she quoted, let me quote her. This is what she said on her official Twitter account. She said, quote, Somali government and peacekeeping forces need to protect Hormuz and the Somali telecom industry as they make an enormous contribution to the economy and provide a vital service. During my visit to Somalia in 2011, I was surprised by the quick evolution of technology in Somalia. Okay, sounds good, right? I mean, I don't want the people of Somalia to be hurt. And if there's a company providing services in a war-torn and underdeveloped country, why shouldn't a congresswoman support them? There's nothing wrong with that. Except, I don't know, maybe if that company in question is a terror supporter. That's exactly what this company is that Omar is so infatuated with. Hormuz Telecommunications. It was created by and operated by one of the chief financiers of Al-Shabaab. You know what Al-Shabaab is? That's Al-Qaeda. That's Al-Qaeda in Somalia. Now, you don't have to take it from me. You can take it from that other really, really, really not credible right-wing source of the UN. The UN has confirmed this in their own reports. The UN also links Hormuz Telecommunications to the deadliest terror attack in Somalia. Hundreds were killed. Now, gee. This Somali company, a financing arm of Al-Qaeda, has just been